Right now, I was reading some comment by, on something about the Ambani wedding, right?
Yeah.
That, Radhika will kind of come in and take his money and then leave.
Yeah.
If, obviously, touch wood, we want the couple to be happily married ever after. But assume as a case study, right, that Radhika says, I want your money, to what extent will she be able to get any money, right? This Singhania dispute also, I believe, was there, right?
With
The
Gautam
Raymond
Singhania
family,
and his
yes.
father and his
No,
wife.
his wife,
His wife,
yes.
yeah.
And another case study would be, say, Hardik Pandya. Let's take these three people. But in fact, not really, because let's take these three people because they are actually good three case studies. Let's take first the Ambani family. If Radhika madam at any point of time says, I want a divorce, okay, you can always go for a divorce. And if you want to keep the scandal out of limelight, then, you could give her 1 rupee, you could give her 10,000 crore rupees. It is irrelevant. It is about what both parties agree on. Let's say there is no agreement and cases are filed, right? The lady will file an FIR against the husband for cruelty for the purpose of dowry, right? This is very funny. I think one of the Flipkart founders had his wife accuse him of torturing her for dowry for a 5 crore rupee house or something, or 5 crores for dowry. This is from a man who's worth some couple of thousand crore rupees. That's what I'm saying. The wife alleges, it came in the news, the wife alleged that he tortured me for 5 crores dowry. To what extent do you find it to be believable that a man who's worth several thousand crores tortured his wife for 5 crores of dowry?
वो तो अपना पैसा पूसा कमा के सिंगापुर में बेस भी शिफ्ट कर चुके हैं. They don't give a fuck.
So this is something that, this allegation thing came several years ago, and I remember reading and laughing about it. So now here also, if the lady files in the Ambani case, right? If the lady files an FIR against the husband, she's going to say, oh, cruelty for the purpose of dowry, whatever. The law is such that the man is, as per law, not by bribing or anything, is very easily going to be able to, prevent any arrest from taking place. Charge sheet will be filed in the court. They can go for quashing, or otherwise, date pe date, chalo chal raha hai. Second is the lady files a domestic violence petition and says, I'm a victim and this and that. And that case goes on. She seeks compensation. Now, if that case is ever decided, maybe she'll get a couple of 100 crores as compensation. Although it's very unusual because courts usually don't award compensation very easily. Most of the times the cases anyways get wrapped up. Why? Because it'll be anywhere between 3 to 10 years for the case to be decided for her to get that amount, right?
बीच में क्या होगा?
बीच में केस चल रहा है, बस parties will exchange pleadings, evidence, testimony will be recorded. Some occasions, yes, in this particular case, one point of dispute may be one house, right? So the residence location where the both parties were residing, which was, let's assume, which was owned by the Ambani family, the lady can come in and say that, oh, I want a residence order, not ownership. Residence order, residence to right to reside in this house. Now,
co-reside?
Yes, exactly. So she cannot say that everybody else should be thrown out unless it's a very small flat in Bandra, Bombay. That's a different story. But it's a very big house. The court will say, okay, you stay in this one particular portion and the rest of them can occupy the rest. So again, it defeats the point. She does not do a kabza over the entire property. And the third is maintenance, where she says, I have insufficient means to maintain myself. So I want interim maintenance. For the rest, alimony and everything will be decided later. And then the husband files Anant files a divorce case on her, where again, after several years, she may get a few hundred, maybe a few thousand crores as alimony. But then the question for deciding interim maintenance also and permanent alimony also is to what extent the lady is a vagabond, is, starving on the streets, or she is entitled to a life of luxury commensurate to that of the husband. But let's not lose sight of the fact that Radhika Merchant herself comes from a family which is worth thousands of crores.
Correct.
And she herself, her personal net worth would be also a minimum of a few thousand crores. So technically, if they ever end up into separation, the Ambani family in totality, even the man Anant over here, would barely face any scratch at all. That's case study number 1, right? Case study number 2 is kaun sa tha?
It's the Singhania case, the Raymond
Singhania case, yes. Now, we don't know about the personal net worth of the wife over here. Assuming that she has zero money to her name, she can secure herself a floor in one of the massive Bombay houses that they have. She cannot say, oh, all of this is mine, right? That's number 1. Number two, she'll file FIR again. The man is able to kind of secure it. And not again bribes or nothing. There's no bribes or nothing. I would say about 90% of the cases nowadays, husbands are not arrested in India. Okay, especially if they're not idiots and if they don't have horrible lawyers, they're able to manage things, right? That's what happens everywhere as a matter of due course. Now the lady will file her domestic violence petition seeking compensation, and again that case will take several years, and she'll also file interim maintenance. And now in the middle of this, these people are worth, Gautam Singhania is worth 10,000 crores or whatever, 5,000 crores. The wife can ask for maintenance. The courts have, in my experience, the worst possible scenarios people have, been burdened with some sort of interim maintenance would be something like, say, maybe 10 lakhs a month or 15 lakhs a month. That's the maximum I've seen ever. Okay.
Even with extremely rich families.
Even with extremely rich people. 10, 15.
And what's the lowest? 5,000, 6,000 type ka?
2,000, 1,000, 0. Yeah. A lot of like gaon mein courts are routinely fixing 2,000 rupees. See, and that's the look of shock on your face when Amra talks about the level of privilege that you come from, which I must confess, I also come from as well. Because for a huge chunk of the Indian population, 2,000-3,000 is enough to be
get
able to
ration,
survive.
get a small room, kamra lena.
Correct. So 15-20 lakhs. Now, again in this thought, this little thought exercise that we have, even if the wife doesn't have anything, Singhania's, right? How much of maintenance will she be able to get? She'll secure one flat, theek hai. He's got 10 others. She'll be able to secure 15, 20, 30 lakh rupees as maintenance, right? Interim maintenance, which ends up into what? 2 crores, 3 crores, 4 crores rupees a year.
He just has to fire a CMO and replace that with his salary with his wife's.
Sure. Now, that's one aspect. And at the end of it all, maybe after several years of litigation, she may be awarded, commensurate 100 crores, 200 crores. But funny thing is, I remember she was asking for half of his net worth. She was asking for something like 1,000 crore rupees. Now, in what sense, if you have to pay 3 crores or 4 crores or 5 crores a year, maybe part with one flat, which is worth around 100 crores or 200 crores, in what universe does it make sense for him to pay 5,000 crores to his wife? Or 1,000 crores, whatever it was, like 800 crores, something, whatever, to his wife. Doesn't make sense, right? So he'd rather fight it out. But one other angle for the rich is also the fact that they're famous, and to what extent will the person want to keep this stuff outside of the limelight?
Correct.
So he might be incentivized to pay far more just because of his reputation. Yeah. So yeah, and Hardik Pandya, honestly, see, I don't know to what extent, because these are just rumors, right? There has been no official statement by any of them.
Yeah, but the rumors are very rife and the evidence is surmounting every day. And I think there is a clip of that you only have, which say कि इसने अपनी मम्मी के नाम पे सब कुछ कर रखा है, which is something that I forget which footballer very recently.
Achraf Hakimi. I made a video about that also.
हाँ, हकीमी और 2-3 और निकले हैं जिन्होंने फिगर आउट करा है कि मेरी माँ तो मेरे को दगा नहीं देगी, तो जिस बीवी या सुपर मॉडल से मैंने शादी करी थी अपने पॉपुलैरिटी के दिनों में, जिसने कहा कि हाँ तू बहुत अच्छा है, at some point when I am too busy and she's like I'm bored, whatever, or this guy is a scum, I don't want him. उस वक्त पे तो चलो इसके पैसे तो ले ही लेती हूँ. Like that's when like a classic gold digger is also exposed, by the way, right? So at that point, someone like Hardik Pandya or someone like these footballers, what do they do? Because it's like it's out in the public. Everyone knows कि कुछ ना कुछ scene तो off है. कि like how would they go about it? What's your take on it?
So there are multiple thoughts on this. One is, it's very easy for us to just stamp her and be like a gold digger. There are many other things, right?
I'm speaking as a member of the paparazzi.
Right.
I'm speaking like that because that is the sort of reporting. I confess it's not the wisest take to give, but it's the reporting that I've consumed, which is of course mangled with my head. But
to play devil's advocate, there is also the cheating athlete spouse.
That's true.
So the cheating spouse, the neglectful spouse, and then that's coming from a guy whose 90% of clients are men, right? Are husbands.
Cheat कर रहे होते हैं सारे.
Not necessarily. No. I'm just saying again, this is part of the narrative.
Yeah.
Now, but yes, a lot of people say, put it in a trust. There's no trust to be done. Okay. Achraf Hakimi, I don't know, because again, news articles will give you something that someone said, they'll run with it for several months. But what's actually going on in the court case, nobody reports after that, right? If you try to Google Achraf Hakimi trust mother wife thing right now, you will find articles from 10 months 15 months ago, whenever that thing transpired, but nothing new.
Right.
By what happened in the case, what happened in the dispute, we have no idea. No reporting being done, so we're completely blinded.